Do you know how to obtain everything you want? Let's face it. Hi everyone, this is Marco Gilardi. What you know about planning? Planning is the path where you should invest your energy to reach what you want. What about your plan? What you should plan in your life? You can plan, depending on your target, right? Can be to plan to have 1 million, 1 billion. Can be to write your first book, or can be to buy your first house in Luxembourg, for instance, 300 meters square, 20 hours, a new house. Or can be, for instance, to think about make better your body. Or can be even everything you want. Just you need one plan. For what? To avoid that you lose time, to avoid that you will not have the better chance for you to reach your goal. The first important thing you should know that a plan can be complex. Milestone can be complex. Your target can be complex, for maybe someone impossible and you don't care about that. It can be really complex. Art, that's normal, okay? The important thing is that the action to reach each milestone should be simple. All are daily simple action which will help you to reach simple or complex target. So today we are going to discover how to plan, and we will do it at high level. We are not entering in detail. Like this you will have the chance to apply this process where you want, in which project you would like to reach, in which target you would like to have in your life, to reach in your life. You just need two things. You need a paper and a pencil or a pen, okay, for your project. So let's face the first things. The first action you should do, take your pencil and put a line in the middle of your paper. The first part it will be the design phase. The second part it will be execution phase. And let's start. So we are now in the design phase. The design phase, we are going really to design simply before move anything, before lose time in some action which maybe it will be no good for us. So we are going to first think and write it down in a paper what we should do. Maybe we can cancel many times, okay, but the goal is that it's free of charge. You can cancel many times. Once you consider everything, because you should write what can impact your project, we are going then after, just after, when all is clean, when you have in your head, in your paper, all the map clear, you are going to execute what has been designed. So that's why we are here now in the design phase. The design phase starts with the first point, which is define your target. Exactly, you need to define your target. Why? Because you need to know where you are going. You need to know what you want. If you don't know if you are going to change the target, will follow a plan that it will be a disaster. Why? Because one day you want red shoes, one day you want black shoes, and you are going always to change your plan and going in one shop, then is going in another. So you don't know what you want exactly. It will be a disaster for your plan. So define exactly what you need. That was the point number one. Second point, you need to prioritize. To prioritize, why? Probably in your life you have not only one project. Maybe you are going to work. Maybe you have a master to reach, right? So you have maybe other project, other plan, other target to reach in your life. So that's why it's important for you to prioritize and to integrate this with all other rest of activity that you will have in your life. That was the point number two. Point number three, you need to consider the factors which will impact your project, your path. You should have a view on what's happening in your life, okay? And all factors which can impact, you must consider in your plan. Point number four, define the timeline. Define the timeline is based on two major points, which are, the first one is the complexity of your project. If it's complex, need much time, right? And another point is the prioritize. Maybe it's not priority for this year, it will be priority for next year. okay? Because today maybe you have to do a master, so it will be this to be planned first, and after to find a job. So it will be the next year the priority, right? So it's less than the master of today, for instance, just for instance, okay? So the timeline, so it will be no start from today, finish this year, but start today, slow, and reach next year maybe. So define a timeline. Point number 5, define your milestones. Like this, if you have a complex project, what you have to do? You have to split and simplify. So in this timeline, now you have the starting point, you have the target, right? At the end of the timeline, and how to reach this, you should put important step of this project which allow you to reach the complex one, which is your target. So you should simplify, okay? For instance, if you have to take a diploma, or if you have to take, I don't know, if you have to write a book, for instance, okay? What you have to do? The first things, what you are going to do is to, what you speak about, what you want to speak about. And this is, it will be the title more or less. And after you divide in chapters. Like this, you have your milestone, okay? This is one example, just a simple example. Another thing is that the point number 6. The point number 6, you are going to define the action. The actions that you should do to reach each milestone, that finally you will reach your target. This action should be simple. Should be simple. If one action is complex, it's not one action, it's a milestone. Okay, so should be simple action that you do constantly every day to work to reach one milestone, which is a bit more complex than one action, and finally will help you to reach your target. That's the goal. So today, as we are going to talk about high-level planning, we are not entering too much in detail. Okay, so we finalize now the design phase. To go further in the execution phase, there are 3 points. The first point is to act, to run what you have planned before, right? So, like this, you will start to put in place all the action you plan to reach your milestone in your timeline. There will be 1 milestone, 2 milestone, 3 milestone, till the target, and each milestone will help you to reach your target. So start to act. So the second point is to monitor. To monitor what? You should monitor what you plan, if it's going to be really what you are going to do. Okay, so every month, every week, every day, you are going to check if every action you plan in the design phase are respected, following the action you start to take. Point number 3. The point number 3, it will be to apply changes. To apply change, why? You probably didn't consider one factor. It can be. Is something that maybe you don't know, you was not aware, you were not experienced before, that can happen some things. So in this time, in this case, you are going to face some things that was not under your control. You was thinking was not under your control, but finally appear. And so maybe because of you are not experiencing some, you don't have experience in some things, probably you didn't consider, but no problem, you can always apply change, okay? So it can be because of this issue, or because appear a factor that no people was able to evaluate before, no people was able to consider before, and you must be ready to keep your target, to make the necessary change, to apply the necessary effort to still keep your target, because the goal of a plan is never to lower a target. So finally, one important thing, you must have the discipline to reach and to follow up everything what you plan, everything day by day. Never give up on it, or the target will change. The target will be not the same. You probably will lower the target, or you will not reach anything. Why? Because you give up. So it's important that you have the discipline inside of you, with you, to support your project. Look, the project, a scope, a target, a plan can be complex, but doesn't mean that it's impossible. Who tell you that something is impossible is because they are speaking about their limit. This someone is speaking about his or her limits. Why? Because how you can say something's impossible? First, if someone reach in this life, if someone else, if you can find someone else which reach your target, is not anymore impossible. Someone reach, right? Another thing is that in the case, it will be really impossible. Why? Because no people reach so far. But doesn't mean that it's impossible tomorrow. It's impossible today, maybe tomorrow no. There is always someone which broke the limit in this life, in this world. Before the moon was impossible, right? But 50 years ago, was real things. There was someone that reached the moon, right? So it's not anymore impossible. And remember that when someone is telling to you that your project, your plan is something impossible, they are not talking about your target. They are talking about their limits. You should invest your money. You know why? Not to be rich quick, but to be rich for sure.